So me and my buddies decided to kick off the summer with a camping adventure. We packed our tents, snacks, and all the necessary gear and headed to this campsite that seemed perfect for some outdoor fun. Little did we know, we were in for a whole lot more than we bargained for. The first day was a blast. We hiked, roasted marshmallows, and just soaked in the beauty of nature. Everything seemed peachy keen, but as the sun started to set, things took a dark turn. We were getting ready to hit the hay in our cozy tents when we heard this weird rustling sound in the bushes nearby. We figured it was just the wind playing tricks on us, so we brushed it off. Mistake number one. A few minutes passed, and all of a sudden, a blood-curdling scream pierced the night air. It came from the tent next to ours, where my buddy's fiancée was doing some last-minute cleaning up. Panic gripped us as we realized there was an intruder, a psycho, trying to attack her. Our hearts raced, and adrenaline flooded our veins. Without thinking twice, we sprang into action. We rushed over to confront the intruder, ready to fight tooth and nail to protect our friend. It was chaos, punches thrown, and limbs flailing in the darkness. We managed to chase the psycho away, but little did I know, I was in for a gruesome surprise. As the dust settled, I looked down and noticed a gaping wound on my side. I hadn't even realized I was hurt in the heat of the moment, but now, the pain hit me like a ton of bricks. Agony shot through my body, and I knew I needed help, fast. Luckily, one of our group had a car nearby, so we wasted no time getting me to the nearest hospital. The drive was excruciating, every bump in the road sending shockwaves of pain through me. But we made it, and the doctors took care of me, stitching me up and patching me back together. It was only later that we discovered the truth. The psycho, the one who had terrorized us that night, turned out to be none other than the park ranger himself. Can you believe it? The very person who was supposed to keep us safe turned out to be the one haunting our campsite. Talk about a twist of fate. So there you have it, folks. A camping trip gone horribly wrong. It's a reminder that danger can lurk in the most unsuspecting places, even in the great outdoors. Stay vigilant, keep your wits about you, and always trust your gut, because you never know what's hiding in the shadows. Stay safe out there, my friends, and may your camping adventures be filled with more s'mores than scares. So me and the hubby decided to embark on a camping adventure up at Rock Island last summer. Now let me tell you, getting there ain't no walk in the park. You gotta take a ferry off of Door County to Washington Island and then hop on a second boat to reach Rock Island. It's like a whole journey just to get to your campsite. Now this place is something else. It's all primitive and remote, with a boatload of history. They got not one, not two, but 3 separate cemeteries on that island, along with some old buildings from the early settlers. It's like stepping into a time warp, I'm telling you. The whole vibe is eerie. One night the sky was clear as day, and me and my husband thought it'd be a grand idea to do some stargazing. We found this field about a quarter mile from our campsite, but to get there, we had to pass by one of them cemeteries. That's when things took a turn for the freaky. As we were making our way through halfway to the field, a thick fog started rolling in out of nowhere. But we ain't ones to be easily spooked, so we kept on going. Big mistake, folks. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a set of glowing eyes in the distance. My heart skipped a beat, and I couldn't help but freak out. I tugged at my husband's arm and begged him to shine his flashlight in that direction. What we saw was pretty spooky, not gonna lie, gang. Suddenly, 3, maybe 4 more sets of eyes appeared out of thin air. And to make matters worse, the fog thickened like nobody's business. It was like being trapped in a supernatural nightmare. We wasted no time, let me tell you. We started sprinting back to camp, fear driving us faster than Usain Bolt on steroids. I gotta admit, we were scared out of our wits. The thought of those glowing eyes following us in the thick fog, well, it was enough to make us nearly shit ourselves. But we made it back to the camp, breathless and shaken. Turns out the island is home to a whole pack of foxes, and they sure do like to wander near the campsites at night. And wouldn't you know it, they all decided to pay us a visit right when we were trying to make our way out. Talk about bad luck, huh? So there you have it. Rock Island may seem like a peaceful getaway, but don't let your guard down. Those foggy nights can play tricks on you, and who knows what lurks in the shadows. If you ever find yourself stargazing near a cemetery, keep one eye open and your running shoes handy. Trust me, it ain't no picnic out there. We were out there in the wilderness, just enjoying the peacefulness of nature and grilling up some tasty dinner. It was all going smoothly until we suddenly heard this blood-curdling cry for help. I'm telling you, it was like something out of a horror movie. Without wasting a second, I bolted towards the sound, leaving my half-cooked burger behind. And what did I find? A man, completely hammered, standing in a massive pool of his own blood. Turns out the poor guy had dropped his knife and sliced open an artery in his ankle. That thing was gushing blood like a dang fountain. I mean, it was like a scene from a slasher flick. Luckily, my fiancée came rushing over to lend a hand. We had to act fast, so we wrapped up his ankle and raised it to slow down the bleeding. Meanwhile, I dashed back to our campsite, nearly tripping over tree roots to grab my phone and call for an ambulance. But guess what? No cell service. Can you believe it? In the middle of nowhere, no signal to be found. Fear started creeping in as I realized the seriousness of the situation. I knew there was a hospital about 20 miles away, and I had to make a quick decision. So I loaded the wounded guy into his truck and hopped behind the wheel. Now here's the crazy part. I'm a total wuss when it comes to blood. It gives me the heebie-jeebies like you wouldn't believe. But adrenaline took over, and I managed to keep my cool, or at least appear like I had it together. I sped down the road like a bat out of hell, praying that we'd make it in time. The guy's condition was worsening by the minute. He started slurring his words and giving hints that he might pass out any second. It was a race against time, and my heart was pounding in my chest. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, we arrived at the hospital. The doors swung open, and I could see the urgency in the doctor's eyes. As they took the man inside, I couldn't help but notice the chilling sight of blood spilling out of the truck's door, pooling on the floor mat. It was like a gruesome scene from a horror flick. Later on, we found out that the man came back to the campsite around 10:30 p.m., sporting a whopping 18 stitches. The doctor told him that if we hadn't been there, or if we had waited for an ambulance, he would have bled out and died. It was a horrifying situation, but in the end, we saved a man's life. Well, there you have it. Our camping trip took an unexpected turn into a gruesome horror story like this one. It's a reminder that life can throw some seriously scary curveballs your way when you least expect it. And I caught that like I was Bobby Brown on the stage. Yeah!